for more on the cabinet nominations, I want to go right to South Dakota Republican Senator Mike Rounds. Senator, good morning.
Good morning.
So, I wonder what you think about this promise of a no vote from Senators Collins and Senator Murkowski, and your opinion about Betsy DeVos, who, to be fair, came under some pretty heavy criticism after her confirmation hearing from people who suggested she wasn't prepared.
Well, I think both of the senators in this particular case have looked at it and they've made up their minds independently. That's their right. We still have the minimum number of votes necessary to confirm her, including the tiebreaker with the vice president. So I think we're still on course to get the job done. There's no doubt in your mind that it's going to happen, or do you have some doubts? Do you think that there could be someone else who defects? You know, until it's done, it isn't a finished issue. But for right now, I think we're moving in the right direction. And, we haven't heard of anybody else who has expressed their decision not to vote for her. We think the president does have the right to choose his own cabinet. And unless there are significant reasons why we should not allow him that right, then we should honor his request, just as Senates have done, for years. And so in each particular case, each of these individuals is being brought out for the talents and the interests and the direction that they've convinced the president is the right way to go. We know that with education, a lot of us would love to return a lot more of the decision-making back to the states. We believe that she has that same thought process. So for me, I think this is moving in the right direction to bring more control, authority, responsibility back to the states and local units of government. Local control is important, and if we can move in that direction, and I think we are, then this is the right choice to make.
Let me move on to the other big story coming out of this White House, which is the idea of putting Iran on notice. We saw that the president tweeted about it. Is it clear to you what on notice means, and do you think that this is the way to handle policy?
We don't think we should be sending powerful messages that are very clear and defined about what our next intention is. I think the fact that we put them on notice saying we're watching, that there's a new sheriff in town, and that transgressions from plans and commitments in the past will not be tolerated. The fact that they're actually testing missiles that someday may very well be capable of carrying nuclear weapons is something that concerns us all. They know better. They're doing this to test the next administration. I don't think we should be telling them exactly what might happen. I think we should keep all of our cards in our hand, and we shouldn't be showing them. So I like the idea that we told them to knock it off.
Should we be talking to members of key Senate committees, key House committees, or is it just okay to send a vague message?
I don't think the message was very vague. I think it was clear. They basically said knock it off, and that we're watching, and there is a new sheriff in town. At the same time, this is a new administration. They're going to learn the lines of communication. It takes a little bit of time to do that. They'll feel comfortable with it as they get into it. Nothing is ever perfect when you're changing from one administration to another, particularly when Democrats, in this particular case, are stopping them from even putting their team together. So I think they're doing the best they can with the resources they've got and the manpower they've got on board. But it'll get better. We'll have more communication. Personally, I can't complain about the communication we've had since November. They've been in contact with us. They've discussed issues with us. They've asked us our thoughts on different things. So, I'm not going to complain about the kind of communication we've had. And when it comes down to these types of issues, I think it's perfectly appropriate for the president to send a powerful message to Iran that says, knock it off. This kind of activity is inappropriate. And if you're going to do it, be aware we're watching, and times are changing.
We're out of time, Senator, but I want to ask you just really quickly, are you in favor of using the nuclear option if necessary for the nomination of Judge Gorsuch?
That's going to be up to the Democrats. What we want to do is to make sure that we have the opportunity to have a full discussion about his qualifications, move him forward. This is going to get done one way or another. And it's going to be up to the Democrats as to how the process continues. But I feel very confident that he will be eventually voted on, and he will be the next member of the United States Supreme Court.
Sounds like one way or another means you're in favor of the nuclear option if necessary.
We're just simply not taking anything off the table. The nuclear option was never there before. When Mr. Reid decided that he was going to make that part of the game plan, and the suspicion was that the Democrats would be doing that with regard to a Supreme Court nomination if they were in control of the Senate. That doesn't make this any easier. But most certainly it provides more options to us. We're not going to take anything off the table. We simply know that the Supreme Court is something that's very, very important. We wanted someone who would be in the likeness of Anthony Scalia. We think Mr. Gorsuch is. We think he has an impeccable record. And for those reasons, we think he should be the next member of the United States Supreme Court. And the Dems, if they disagree, then let's vote on it and find out. But let's make it an up or down vote, not subject to a cloture vote, which is something which, simply has not happened in the past. And it shouldn't be on this one. This is a good man. And if they want to vote against him, let them stand up and vote against him for the right reasons. But let's get it down to an up or down vote, 51. And that's the way it's been done in the past. We think he's good enough to where he should be on it. He believes in a strict interpretation of the Constitution. The American people clearly understood that the president would be nominating a conservative justice. That was part of the discussion during this last election. That's the reason why Mitch McConnell and other leaders in the party said, let's have an open discussion on this. Let's have that be a part of this presidential election. Let's make that part of the reason why you vote for the presidential nominee of your choice. And
Senator Rounds,
people made their choice.
thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.